Apples, the world's favourite fruit. Except for bananas, but Steve Jobs was definitely fond of them, and apparently an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and although I'm not entirely sure that's sound medical advice, this got me thinking, what would happen if I ate nothing but apples? So that's what I did. I ate nothing but apples for 100 hours. The explosion is because I didn't want anyone to think a video about a bloke eating apples was boring, which is also why I decided to take my clothes off. Well, that and I thought I should weigh myself at the beginning of the challenge because I'm no scientist, but I had a suspicion my weight would change.
It's not bad. I thought it'd be worse.
And at that point it was time for breakfast, so let's get into the rules I set, which were, you can only eat apples for the next 100 hours. I'm not entirely sure I needed to clarify that, but it's also worth noting another rule, which was the only liquid to be consumed was water. So no coffee, no tea, and no soft drinks. So with the rules made clear, it should be pretty obvious what I had for breakfast.
Sausages for breakfast, because I'm a sausage man. Don't clip that. Don't clip that.
Yeah, the challenge hadn't started yet, so I decided to have a sausage sandwich as my last non-apple meal, and then I started the challenge.
It is now 9 o'clock, which means that the 100 hours starts now.
I'm not too worried this morning because I've had the sausage sandwich. I doubt that in an hour's time I'm going to be lying on the floor going, no, I'm just joking, I'm okay. But I have just realised that I've only got 2 apples in the house, which is probably not enough. So off I went to the shop, being sure to film my shadow as I made my way to the exciting food heaven that is a Sainsbury's local, where I decided to buy all my apples loose just to make things that little bit harder for myself. I bought 3 types of apple, Granny Smith, Braeburn, and of course, Pink Ladies, which were over double the price, so I was expecting big things. So naturally I had to do a taste test where I kept calling the Braeburn apple a Bramley. Initial thoughts on the Bramley apple is that it's a bit softer than I would usually like an apple, but I'm going to want the variety over the 100 hours. Nice and sweet, good solid start. That is the one. Crunchy, juicy, a nice blend of sweet and sour. That is the granddaddy of them all, or the granny I should say, the granny. That's the one. The Pink Lady is definitely the sweetest of a lot, and a crunchiness somewhere between these two. So if you want my actual order in preference, probably the reverse way round for you guys because it probably looks wrong. Bramley apple worst, Pink Lady second best, Granny Smith granddaddy, granny, gran. Anyway, there's still quite a lot of apple left here, so I'm going to polish these off and I'll catch up with you later in the day. As the day went on, I discovered that I was actually not that hungry, despite not having eaten much, so I ploughed straight on through to day 2.
Good morning, it's hour 23 of eating nothing but apples for 100 hours. I've still not had anything to eat since lunchtime yesterday, so this walk that I'm on right now is fueled almost entirely by 3 apples and probably the remnants of a sausage sandwich, so we're powering on through. I have actually decided to bring my breakfast out with me today, so this here is apple number 4. Oh, still not boiled of that. So good. Cow's trying to keep cool in the river.
I continued walking past the camera like I didn't know it was there, and the only clue I had that my diet had changed was a slight headache, which could have just as easily been caused by my lack of caffeine. I hit the 30-hour mark as I got in, which meant it was time for some more exciting food. The rest of the day was spectacularly lazy as I decided I needed to conserve my energy, which was basically an excuse to play video games, but as the day ended and day 3 rolled round, I was surprised to find I still wasn't that hungry.
The one thing I'm really not enjoying is how restricted this challenge is making me feel. I normally like to, exercise or go out for walks, but I'm running on a calorie deficit at the moment. Yesterday I was incredibly sluggish, so I didn't feel like I could really do those things. And today I feel less sluggish. My dull headache has gone as well, but I still know that I'm running on a calorie deficit. And if I was to go for a massive walk or a workout, I would probably really regret it. But I do have some fuel, so breakfast time.
Day 3 was spent almost entirely at my desk working and trying to figure out cool apple eating transitions, but everywhere I looked, there were constant reminders of what I couldn't eat.
Now you see this? You see this right here? This is the problem. This here is the problem.
Yesterday when I was watching TV, I saw someone eating a bagel and I saw someone else eating peanut butter, and now I really want bagels with peanut butter. Like, I can't stop thinking about bagels with peanut butter, which isn't something I normally crave. I think what's probably the problem is it's dinner time and I haven't eaten anything, so time to add these 2 to the tally. Anyway, that's probably enough of ramblings from a guy only fueled by apples for now. I'll catch you in the morning. And unbelievably, we are now 72 hours into the challenge, and last night when I fell asleep was the first time I sort of struggled to fall asleep because of hunger pains, which was an unpleasant feeling. And this morning I've woken up and my legs are absolutely
aching, like they've got no energy in them whatsoever. Just going up and down the stairs in the house is really quite a struggle. I'm really starting to feel the effects of the calorie deficit and the nutrient deficit.
The rest of the day was spent eating apples and convincing myself that putting ice in my water was a decadent treat.
What a treat.
My wife Charlie returned after being away for a couple of days and teased me with cheese and bagels, which was the first time in the whole challenge I had food that wasn't apples right in front of me, and my dinner wasn't looking all that appealing.
But hey, I'm gonna smash these 2 apples now, so chalk up another 2 on the tally.
And before I knew it, it was the next day, and although the hunger meant I didn't sleep well and my teeth were feeling sensitive, I was only hours away from finishing the challenge.
I mean, if anything, the challenge has been quite a good test of willpower and perhaps more importantly, patience and waiting for something good. This morning, that something good is that first bite of something other than an apple at 1 p.m. I guess you could say as we enter these final hours, it's crunch time. I'm quite embarrassed to say I've been sitting on that joke for a couple of days.
As the moment the challenge ended drew near, I knew exactly what my first meal was going to be, thanks to some foreshadowing earlier in the video. A bagel with peanut butter.
Just 10 more seconds before I can have my first bite of sweet peanut butter bagel. Come on now. Oh, this is... Yes! 100 hours done, baby. Let's smash this bagel. It just feels good to chew something other than an apple. Right, I'm going to devour this. I'm going to let Future John take it from here because I'm in heaven.
The first thing I did after devouring the bagel was take my clothes off again for these before and after shots, and I'd lost a surprising amount of weight.
14 stone and 5 pounds. That means I have lost 9 pounds in the last 100 hours, which to be quite honest with you is frankly alarming.
But this challenge wasn't about weight loss. The weight slowly came back on over time, and the trade-off of being incredibly tired, sluggish and restricted for unhealthy quick weight loss is not only not worth it, but frankly stupid. I did learn a lot about what is possible if you put your mind to it, and I like to focus on what I can do. I don't have big budgets for videos, but I can afford some apples, and not only that, I can push myself a lot further than I previously thought possible, and that is something I want to remind myself going forward from this point.
Why did I do this? Because I had a curious itch, and I now consider that itch scratched. And I can now categorically say that yes, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but too many apples a day? Yeah, you're probably going to have problems. But I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. Probably going to eat an apple now though.